won't you come over?
Welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight you're joining us for our NACE Rocket League match in the Open Division, whereon the Boise State Broncos are going to be taking on the University of Kentucky. The Broncos have been quite on a roll in the Open Division. We'll see if they can continue their win streak against this new foe. I'm your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Artemis Rain, calling all of the action for you tonight. And I love this match because this is going to be a chance for us to see the Open Division team. In collegiate sports, there are two levels, varsity and open. And, for various reasons, sometimes only one varsity team is allowed or something. That doesn't mean you should discount the open team at all.
Not at all, especially if you're capable of fielding more than one team and you have to, ultimately decide, okay, who's going to go into the higher bracket, who's going to go a slightly step lower. It doesn't always mean that there is a team that is of lesser skill. It just happened to be that we only get to place one team up there, and so you got to go with the team that, they've earned it, so to speak. And that was our original OG three-man squad for the Broncos, but we had an amazing opportunity to get 3 additional members added on to our teams, and that created this, I want to call them a motley crew, but they worked out so well and are dominating so heavily in this Open Division that they are Broncos in their own right.
And this really shows us, as many times as say, you can join Boise State Esports, or we have our kickoff events at the beginning of the semester. This is why those are important, because these 3 players attended our Bronco Rocket League kickoff. We were really impressed, the overall program, with their talent, and so we're happy to welcome them on board, give them a chance to compete on the blue, and they have just been tearing it up in this Open Division. So to give you an idea of how things are going to work tonight, we've got Boise State versus University of Kentucky in a standard best-of-5 Rocket League. And everything being standard, that means the keys to the game are mostly the same as we know them. Doc's keys to the game in Rocket League is going to be to set your play style, understand rotations, play to follow up, and employ those sweaty comms. Doc's keys to the game brought to us by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. As we're ready to head into the match, we have all players that are going to be playing on the stage behind us as they're ready to head up against University of Kentucky in the NACE Star League Open Division. For all of these matches, they really haven't had a foe that can really match up to the Broncos quite yet. So we're hoping we're going to see a nice, good, and competitive game for this best-of-5. We're ready to head in, and I should say it's not just the 3 players. We've also had Colin, a familiar face here, who was casted on desk a few times, who was kind of wrangling them all together. Here we go, Boise State versus University of Kentucky.
We have the Broncos on the orange squad, Kentucky in the blue. We have Three Goats, Elevate.
Actually, I got to overrule you there. I recognize the gamer tags. Yep. Yeah, we are squad. It's Boise State in the blue.
Okay, the score UI is a little goofed up. Apologies in advance. It might goof me up later. We have Wada sending the ball down over into the corner. Three Goats trying to pop it up over 1. Gets it past 1. Can't get it past Fern.
Kentucky is trying to put some pressure onto Boise State. Styles gets 1 tap on it. Rico drops out of the air before he can follow up. Three Goats unable to push it into the other half of the field. Boise State still looking to get some cycle control.
Styles plays the ball off the wall, sends it to the backboard in the orange defensive third. Hey, Rico is going to pop the ball up to the midfield, elevate with it, played over 1, has no one to beat. Defender comes in, as does Three Goats, unfortunately. Might have caused an awkward ricochet on that ball, leading it down onto the ground.
Rico elevates up yet again to try to save it. Only able to deflect it to the side. Styles is able to get slight touch on it, but really the Broncos have been facing a lot of trying to get clears rather than trying to score goals. In fact, both these teams are held to no shots on goal thus far.
We have a demo onto Styles. while we have the opportunity to find a goal anyway. So man down, doesn't matter. Tree Goats finds the first goal for the Broncos.
Oh, that did it right there. You can see the double commit from University of Kentucky to get that demo. It shows the demos on everything. If you're giving up your goalie, it is not worth it at all.
No, you cannot throw yourself out of position just to take someone out of the play, and that is why, as we go to the next kickoff, goes slightly in favor of Kentucky, and it's going to be Styles elevating, Duncan past midfield stripe, Fern also elevating, preventing that from happening, sending the ball into the corner. In Broncos back third, immediately sent to the midfield.
Grounded in mid. Wada taking a shot on goal. Follow up by Kentucky. Ishitoni, I believe, is the one who's going to get that ball. I'm going to pronounce it like that.
I'll roll with it.
Certainly a lot harder to pronounce than the other one syllable. One syllable gamer tag. So that's just how it goes so far. Hey, Rico already getting the demo onto that player who I can't pronounce the name right there.
We'll call it Ash.
Okay, Ash. We'll do Ash. Hey, Rico now trying to get back to his own territory. Unable to pick up his own boost, and that's why he seems a bit sluggish there. Tree Goats is going to have to rotate in. As you say, tied up with Kentucky as we're heading toward mid-round.
Wada pops it up, sends it, unfortunately for them, to Tree Goats. Tries to go for the challenge against Hey Rico. Hey Rico pushes it forward a little too far, does get a demo out on Fern, but the ball is in the back, defensive third of Bronco territory.
Hey Rico pushes it off in the corner. Tree Goats picks up the boost. Boise State is slow playing this a bit. Wada tries to capitalize on that with the follow-up from Ash. Not going to score. Broncos have only been held to one shot on goal thus far. That was the one goal they did. Maybe Styles can change that around. He indeed does with a beautiful air dribble.
So note on that person's name. It's Ashton.
Ashton. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just like they put the two little bars on both sides of their name.
I see.
So it's tripping us up. It's Ashton.
Okay.
We can just call him Ash, though.
Ashton. Yeah, we can still say Ash. Hey, Rico moving up in mid-air, but Wada is waiting for the ball to be grounded. Almost takes it for himself. Tree Goats still managing to find a way to keep the Broncos in possession.
Ooh.
Wada with a deflect, almost heads into their own goal. Styles scores the second goal.
That was beautiful. That was also an unfortunate whiff moment here for Wada. The elevation, couldn't find it. Styles almost didn't make it in time, but took a couple seconds, did a U-turn, managed to get it in.
Now we move into, we have about a minute half left, a little over a minute and a half. Ashton gets better that kickoff. Styles now moving up the field, is going to leave it for Hey Rico. Tree Goats now rotating in as the third member, unable to play around Wada. Ball cleared back toward Boise State. Styles waiting in his own corner, waiting for the shot from Fern, and the shot is very high with almost no forward momentum, meaning that the Broncos are going to have a lot of time to collect themselves and try to get it clear, especially with that whip from Fern.
Hey Rico pushing forward, crossing midfield stripe, can't get it past Ash. It will pop up, hit the ceiling, drop down to Wada. Styles rotating back. Hey Rico goes for the challenge, whips it. Styles snags it off the ground. Fern also misses on that ball, but Ash comes in, goes for the challenge on Tree Goats. Ball hits the ground, looks like a reset for Kentucky. 1 minute left on the clock, Broncos leading by 2.
Styles plays it above Fern. Ashton coming in to try to center it, denied by Rico. Boise State is also very low on boost right now, so it's going to be tough for them to make the plays they've won. Hey, Rico does manage to refill. He actually picks up 2 of his own boost. Interesting play. Styles does have boost now. Broncos just making sure that Kentucky can't steal it away from them.
Tree Goats in the air, pushes the ball across midfield stripe. Ashton just pushes it forward. Volleyed right back across midfield stripe. Wada can't elevate fast enough nor high enough to snag it. Again, it comes right back. Hey Rico stops it from crossing the stripe this time as we tick down to the last 10 seconds. Broncos still leading by 2, so even if there's a buzzer beater here, it doesn't matter. Shot on goal from Ashton. Gonna hit that crossbar. Fern tries to go for the reset. All that's left now is for the Broncos to ground the ball, and that's game 1 for the Broncos.
Pretty low-scoring game thus far. We only saw 4 shots on goal to 3 for the Broncos. Even though the Broncos had the deficit, they were able to pull together. We see a bit of team encouragement there from the scrappy crew that didn't exist at the beginning of the semester, but all impressed us in our tryout tournaments.
Yes, we're saying scrappy lightly. We don't have another term yet.
Saying it, we don't mean that as you know, a way to diminish their play style, because all of them are showing great aerial play. The only thing that I would think that needs to be improved a little is probably that boost management. I'm seeing some 100 boosts be picked up when they still have 90 boosts left, and sometimes we're just seeing too many times where they're kind of falling to the ground or they're moving very slow around the field because of that.
It happens. It takes time to... I saw that. Anyway, it takes time to really master some of these things, but for a squad that we didn't have until a few weeks ago, I think they're doing fantastic. I'm excited to see how the remainder of this best of 5 goes. If it goes in our favor, then it's going to be a 3-0 sweep. That's what I'm always looking for the Broncos. But if you're here for entertainment, you're wanting the best of 5 go all the way to the 5.
We'll see if the Broncos can continue on. They're just about ready to load into the next arena, I can see. So we'll be joining them down on the field in just a few seconds. So the Broncos leading University of Kentucky in a narrow victory on the first game. Remember, the shots on goal were pretty low for both teams. We'll see if either team can improve that going into game 2.
Trigos has possession, dives down at the midfield, and actually has it taken away by Ash. Trigos goes for the challenge again. Going to get past them and barely down into that lower corner with the assist from Ashton to Fern, and that's going to be a shot on goal and a goal scored for Kentucky. 13 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, the mispositioning there by Rico. He decides to go back for the cool boost in the corner while the ball was being shot. That can just happen in these opening kickoffs. Nothing to get too much in your head. Everyone's just trying to rally and get their position on the field, and sometimes the other team can jump on you.
Ball is in the defensive third for the Broncos. Styles has possession. He's going to keep it off the wall, take it down to the mid in the center. Looks like it was meant for Rico, but it ricocheted too high, so Wada sent it down in front of the net. Shot on goal. Gonna bounce to hit the... It's going to hit the ground and be sent forward into the midfield.
We have gotten the word that this is, in fact, a best of 7. Means that we are in it for the long haul. Boise State and Kentucky might be victims of attrition if this game goes a bit too long. It can always happen in best of 7. But right now, currently, Boise State is trying to defend against Ashton. They are able to get a shot way back over to Kentucky's goal.
Wada takes down Rico. Ball is inching towards the Broncos' goal. They do save it, but off respawn, it looks like there was a collision between 2 members, opening up that goal for Fern yet again, and that's goal number 2 for Kentucky.
Kentucky looks like they do not want it to be a short night, and this was the problem that the Broncos had last time. They were very starved for shots on goal. They were lucky that the only ones they managed to get were, in fact, goals. They got to find a way to more consistently clear it.
We'll see if they can do that. They've got 3 minutes and 40 seconds to rectify this situation and put themselves back in the lead. That's roughly 1 minute and 10 seconds per goal. Rico pushing forward. Fern goes up in response. Trigo's now off the wall. Going to go for some great aerial play. Has the challenge happening, so there needs to be a teammate there. It's going to be Rico, and Wada's going to be there for response.
Wada pushes it to the corner. Ashton on the follow-up. Plenty of time for Styles to save. Now Rico moving up the field. Rico's hanging back in mid, trying to defend against Wada, who again puts another shot on goal. He's going to find the 3rd for Kentucky. Unfortunately for Styles, just a bit of a misread there instead. Ran into Wada instead of the actual soccer ball.
It happens. Now we go on to the next kickoff. Styles went for the challenge. It does look like Ashton was the one to get the better touch. Rico's going to be there to try and corral it. Wada response, sends the ball across midfield stripe, volleyed into the back third of Kentucky's defensive third. Trigos goes for the shot on goal, immediately stopped by Fern, who sends it to the midfield stripe.
Fern moving around the corner, just in front of the Broncos goal, and they're just going to barely get away with that. Actually, looks like that was an odd angle Kentucky took, so the Broncos getting a bit of leeway, but Kentucky still dominating inside control.
Styles off the wall. Unfortunately loses possession, so I believe that was Fern who sends it to Ashton. Wada gets demoed. This is an opportunity for the Broncos to clear this out of the defensive half. They do. Styles with a great volley. He's going to be there to try and follow it up, but Ashton snacks it off the wall, goes to elevate, brings it down at the midfield, but it falls right on top of Trigos. Trigos now looking to repeat that same thing before their own team. Hey, Rico cuts in, gets the shot, but it's saved by Wada.
Hey, Rico, just a bit of a tap over to the goal. Doesn't find anything. And again, Broncos left defending. Wada's been taking a lot of shots on goal, but the crossbar is coming clutch for the Broncos. But Broncos want to rely on more than that. Sal's moving up the field. A demo onto Hey Rico is going to make it even tougher for the Broncos.
Got 93 seconds left on the clock. Broncos still down by 3, sitting at that unfortunate goose egg of a scoreboard. Game number 2. Got Ashton bringing the ball up off the wall, dunking it down in front of the net. It's going to be saved by Trigos, but it's not cleared out of Bronco territory just yet. So Rico looking for an opportunity to cut in. Fern takes the shot. Demo on the keeper. Does look like it was a save, though, off of that demo of Wada.
Hey, Rico trying to play up the field, but he has no boost, and Wada plays right around him.
That brings Kentucky up to 4 goals. I mean, Broncos, what? Goal roughly every
15 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty impossible. This could be a GG go next and send us to, as we stated earlier, a best-of-5 series.
It's complicated 0-0, as you would say.
Yes.
Both these teams would be tied at 1 win apiece. Just 1 minute left for the Broncos to try to make it happen. Double commit from Kentucky. They're not going to be punished for that, however, because they're just going to drive it right back toward the goal. Wada with the follow-up. Stolen away, but Broncos can't capitalize on the breakaway. Fern gets a touch. It's moved on to a 50-50, which Ashton wins, sending it back over toward the Broncos.
Trigos tries to dunk it down, but unfortunate ricochet and a hat trick for Wada. The save is immediately just taken away there for Boise State, and that's bringing the Kentucky squad up to 5.
The University of Kentucky most definitely winning this second match. It's going to send us to at least a game of 5. Right off of the kickoff, both teams are trying to fight in mid. Rico peppers a shot, but it's a bit wide of Kentucky's goal.
Fern trying to bring it up the side, challenged by Styles. It ricochets off the ceiling. Hey, Rico tries to get a touch, can't. Wada takes the shot. It's going to be too wide after a tap from one of the Broncos. Hey, Rico pops the ball to Styles. Styles can't get a touch on before Wada does. Wada sends it to the backboard, sent to the side by Styles. 6 seconds left on the clock. Broncos just wanting to get 1 extra goal. Overcommit from Kentucky, easily punished by Hey Rico. They find 1 onto that scoreboard. Our final goal line will most likely be 1-5. I could be wrong. We could see a kickoff goal. We could see someone trying to keep it in the air for 30 seconds. We've seen it before in the past. But for now, Kentucky's going to walk away with a Game 2 victory, no matter what happens in the next 2 seconds.
But just to make sure everything's official, we'll play those last 2 seconds. Broncos try to keep it in the air, but with no follow-up. Wildcats win that one, tie it up to 1 apiece. Again, Boise State, the Broncos going up against the University of Kentucky. Wildcats, Kentucky showing that they definitely have a lot of life. And I think that the same problems we were talking about between the first game have only intensified in Game 2.
Yeah, I think Kentucky might have been using Game 1 as testing the waters and gauging things, because they were playing at a much faster tempo than what we saw earlier from them in Game 1. We'll have to wait and see how the Broncos respond in game number 3, but if they cannot make the proper adjustments, this could be a very quick best-of-7 series for Kentucky.
And it hasn't just been a breakdown of the resources for the Broncos. We're also seeing a little bit of a breakdown in coordination as well. Even though I was in the play-by-play calling out a University of Kentucky double commit, it was really the Broncos who were double committing a lot in that game, especially when they were just, it seemed like they were kind of panicking trying to decide. I mean, it can't get in their heads, of course, but University of Kentucky, if you looked at their activity feeds, just had so many shots on goal.
Well, hopefully the Broncos have the opportunity to shut that down and turn things more in their favor here in game number 3. I do believe all players are loaded onto that virtual field and we'll be ready to go here very soon. We already heard them kind of hyping each other up on stage, so we'll have to see what the heck is happening. Maybe they made a mental swap. Maybe Cole, their kind of coordinator, well, Colin, their coordinator / organizer, gave him a loving thump on the head.
Sometimes you just need to but a sensible smack into your E-athletes. And
We've seen it before. It's worked. It's scary.
Doc our head coach, has chucked items up onto the stage sometimes. I will just say that.
Yes. Not at anyone, but in the general direction.
Keeping them alert. Right now, the Broncos look like they're alert. Say Rico's trying to dunk it down. It's now going to head back to Trigoats, who's trying to follow up. The Broncos looking like a completely different team as this round starts out, getting the side control right off the bat.
Going very fast. This is what we want to see out of them. Game number 2. What a shot. Taken away by Trigoats. Now ball is down in the corner. Looks like Ashton tried to corral it, couldn't. It's sent to the midfield. Wada's going to pop it up. It's going to go to a challenge 50-50 in favor of Fern. Fern won't be able to capitalize immediately, though. Finding it off the wall. The follow-up dunk down. Could not get past Rico.
Game still tied at no score apiece. Rico grounds it down to Styles. Ashton answers back, playing off of Fern. Wada tries to keep the play alive. Ball very high up on the field. Styles pushes it over to the other side.
Styles gets past one, is pushed out of play by another. Wada goes forward, gets it past another one. It's gonna be Ashton with the follow-up touch. It's too wide, so Rico now with possession has to beat it around Wada and Fern. Can't do it. Styles gets demoed by Fern.
Wada trying to score in an open goal, but it's not quick enough of a shot, meaning the Broncos can rotate back in. Ashton follow-up, denied. Wada again, it's going to bounce off the crossbar. Is there a follow-up from the Wildcats? There is, but Styles comes in clutch for the Broncos with another save.
Ashton tries to get it around 2. Can't do it. Wada comes in for the reset play. They're going to be challenged by Styles in the air. Drops off the ceiling. Rico just barely pushes it forward. Styles comes back in to corral it in the corner. Ball has yet to leave the Bronco territory, and we're crossing down into the 2-minute 30-second mark. No goals have been scored yet, but this ball spent an awful lot of time over here on the blue side.
Ashton gets a light tap. Doesn't go across midfield. Was going to try to play around Wada. Styles is able to win it. But Ashton, before the follow-up can happen, deflects it. Now back over to Fern. Pass downfield toward Wada. Trigoats is able to intercept it. Heads back to mid. Ashton looking to make the next play. Can Styles defend here? He can. Spike it up. Can he defend again as the follow-up's coming through? Hey, Rico's going to bail him out.
Rico now with possession, has Ashton in front of them. They have Styles to their left. Will they do a give and a go? They're going to go for the shot anyway. It's thwarted by Fern. Styles comes in, goes for the reset play, taken away after too many touches by Ashton. Ball crossing midfield stripe. Here Rico stopping it, but they're right in front of the goal, so they send it side. And we have a Rule 1 happening over on the side of the field, and hey, Rico's just going to let it go. Their teammate is stuck in a stalemate.
Ooh boy, now it's a completely different game as we move into a 2v2. Ball
They're
heading
right
back toward that Rule 1 is going to be played past them. Fern shot on goal.
Now the Rule 1 is broken. Kentucky finds their first goal. But a minute and 28 seconds remain. That took a heck of a long time for them to find that first goal.
Yeah, it's a much bigger it's a much bigger moment together.
Tree. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm glad.
You know, I enjoy that type of, you know, just lightheartedness between the teams.
Truly.
But Kentucky is showing that they can joke around and still be quite a force to be reckoned with because they have the lead, have been peppering a few shots on goal since that last kickoff. Wada pushes it back over to the corner. Boise State trying to push them out of the way. Styles back over to mid. Stolen away from him by Fern.
Wada comes in. We've got 1 minute remaining. Boise State only trailing by 1, but again, at that goose egg, double commit from Kentucky. Shot on goal. Saved by Styles.
Ashton, another shot. Double commit there from the Broncos to save. Gets almost played past them, but the shot's wide. Back over to the far corner. Grounded by Ashton. Almost hits in again.
Ah, take the ball away from Fern. Ah, no, stop. Get it out, please. You only have 1 goal difference right now. You don't need to make it 2. You've got 20 seconds. Come on, Trigoats.
Tree Goats moving up the field as Hey Rico takes the play. Styles is waiting in the wings to follow up, but Ashton is able to play it over him. Tree Goats trying to recover. Just 7 seconds left, and Kentucky looks like they might eke out a win here. Moving on to an overall lead. They got to keep it in the air. Kentucky needs to ground it. Styles keeps it in the air. Hey Rico still dribbling it up the field and drops it.
Dang it, that was so close.
Although I really have to hand it to the Broncos. If everything that we were kind of critiquing them in the first game, they've improved greatly. And
Most definitely.
that's why this has only been a one-goal game as compared to the other games.
It was definitely leaps and bounds different than what we saw in our first game.
Uh-oh. That's Durtho watching them in the audience. He's one of the varsity players.
Yeah, he's one of...
He is...
Anyway.
He will let them know if they did something wrong.
He lets the Overwatch squad know
that
when
is
he thinks
true.
they
He's
did
coaching the
things wrong,
Overwatch
okay?
squad. He's coaching the Rocket League squad. I know he's going to be branching out into Valorant soon enough. I mean, Durtho's everywhere. But as much as we make fun of him, it's good to see that he's in the team, rooting them on. That's one of the great things about our Rocket League squad is they're always rooting each other on in the esports arena. And the
Most
Broncos
definitely.
have definitely improved in the main problems that we saw. They're going to be moving into Game 4. I think in a lot better position. I think they could reset this again to a best of three.
Best of three. We'll have to see. I will want to give a shout out to, I believe it was Wada and then Tree Goats, who were stuck in a role 1 and they respected it. We've seen it broken in the past by one of our own players. Like, they moved out of it. You never do that. It's against like the moral, ethical rules of Rocket League, and it makes my heart very happy to see it respected.
Early kickoff in favor of Tree Goats. He tries to play off of it, setting it up for Styles right off the bat. I was telling you, they're ready to rally.
You're not wrong. I'll give that one to you. Beautiful follow-up opportunity there. Tree Goats set it up. Styles is there. 5 seconds in, Broncos have the first goal.
Next kickoff, Tree Goats and Wada pinch it off to the side. Fern takes the shot. It goes into the corner. Tree Goats looking for a clear. Ashton plays it back toward mid where Wada's waiting. Shot on goal, saved by Rico. Broncos are able to, well, I was going to say it looked like they found a clear, but Fern knocked it back towards them in midfield. A demo onto Ashton might clear things up. Well, the Broncos are still looking a bit sluggish.
Hey Rico tries to play it forward, has a lot of pressure from Ashton. Fern snags the ball off the attempted clear. Styles is there in defense. Most of the Broncos have actually rotated back. Dunked down by Wada, saved by Rico. Sent to the side, Ashton going for a reset here. Can't find it. Zed's gonna find Styles in the goal and send them to the respawn screen. And Tree Goats, dude, chill.
Styles steals it away from Wada. Ashton moves in for a shot, but isn't able to find the angle he wants. The ball just kind of generally makes its way toward midfield before the Broncos take it back, moving it back toward the Wildcats. Styles unable to stop that clear now. Hey Rico is left chasing after it. Dangerous situation for the Broncos. Wada is off in the Broncos' own corner. Keeping watch over their boost. Broncos redirected down toward the Wildcats' goal. They're unable to follow up on it, and Ashton on an open goal punishes Boise State.
I need to see the slow-mo replay of this happening. We have Tree Goats get barely a touch. Ashton gets the shot, the rebound. Ooh.
Yeah, that was
just oof.
Yeah, that was just a case of overextension on the Broncos' part. They only have one team member trying to defend.
Kickoff goes to Fern. Tree Goats goes in response. Gonna elevate straight up, challenge by Ashton. Styles unfortunately can't meet them. Ashton now in the corners. Ball taken away by Hey Rico, but immediately stolen by Fern.
Styles plays it to Hey Rico, up in the corner! Redirection off of 2 posts.
Beautiful.
I don't know if I've seen the ball bounce off 2 times like that into the goal. That is not common, but it just shows that it was barely accurate enough.
Somewhat simple geometry.
Kickoff, not in favor of anybody, but Hey Rico is able to hang in there and wait for the follow-up. Puts it over to the Wildcats territory. Broncos back in a 1-goal lead. Trigos reverses. Hey Rico up, and with a dribble, a double touchdown into the goal, saved by Ashton. Will there be a follow-up by the Broncos? They try to put another shot on it, but they're going to be left searching for a wider lead.
2 minutes, 35 seconds remain here in game number 4. Broncos trailing in the series by 1, but leading this game by 1. They need that extra goal, the security one, prevent any buzzer beaters. But
no.
As I'm talking about the security goal, Kentucky finds the second one for their team, and that is going to be it's complicated, 0-0.
And I see Trigos just probably a half second or second too late in rotating back. Something that's kept the Broncos spitting them in the heels multiple times this match, but they can recover off of the kickoff as Trigos tries to push it toward the goal, but Ashton is able to save it. Trigos and Hey Rico don't have the boost right now to make the play, so that allows Fern to push it up to the corner, unable to center as the Broncos get the resources they need.
Ashton attempts to set a play up, can't find anything. Hey Rico elevates, collides with Wada. Awkward pinch for the Broncos, going to send the ball into their defensive third. Ball barely continues to sail straight past the net. Lucky for our Boise State Broncos. Styles elevates, sends the ball to the side on first shot. The resets come out for Kentucky. This is the opportunity for the Broncos to bring it across midfield stripe, but they have to rotate back instead. Trigos goes for the challenge. It's finally in the back third of Kentucky zone. Can they capitalize? Looks like Hey Rico's going to answer my cries.
It is centered in front of the goal. Styles moves in, it bounces off the ground into the crossbar. Broncos aren't going to be able to get those funky angles in their favor this time. Now we have a lot of fighting in midfield. Everyone's going to run into each other. Broncos slow play this so they can demo Fern. They picked up boost. They can now hopefully make the plays, but unfortunately for them, Ashton was just driving the ball up the field, making it difficult for them. Styles pushes it back to mid, off the wall. Wada back in the corner, tries a flip to get it back toward mid.
Wada going forward, the challenge results in the ball ricocheting off the ceiling. No one went to definitive possession just yet. Double commit from the Broncos to force Ashton out of the play for a few moments. Hey Rico leaves the ball for Styles. Ball centered up. It's going to be flicked towards the goal. Demo on the keeper. Hey Rico's gone to the respawn screen. Styles going to drag it back up to the midfield, but it also goes back to respawn.
The Broncos can't make a play at all because University of Kentucky keeps demoing. Styles is now waiting for the save. Finds it. Fern trying to center it again. Bounces off Hey Rico. Now over to Hey Rico's going to take it actually before Trigos. Ashton shot into the corner. Wada denied. The ball's going to be swatted back down to the ground. Boise State in these final 30 seconds have just been defending the whole time. We could be seeing this going into overtime, first one of the match.
Well, ball is in defensive third of the field. Styles shot on goal did get saved, and it hit the ground. So we are now in golden goal territory. Those who find the back of the net first will win. Let's see who it's going to be. Is it going to be Broncos to equalize this in the series, or is it going to be Kentucky to put themselves at series point in this best of 7?
Huge difference in the circumstances depending on which team gets the first goal. It's probably the most consequential game of the match, and Broncos are able to get an initial bit of side control, but no real huge shots on goal thus far. And now Ashton looking to change that around. Styles denies him. 50-50 in favor of the Wildcats. Hey Rico recovers, picks up the boost, now moves up the wall, is able to push it past mid.
Fern got it to Wada. Wada got it to Ashton. Ashton's shot's going to hit that crossbar. The ever so steadfast fourth man for the Broncos coming in. Clear by Styles to the side. Wada goes to the elevation. The challenge 50-50 goes to Rico, who passes it to Styles. Does not have the momentum necessary to go for the full center on play. Trying to keep this ball in the back third, but it's cleared to the midfield.
50-50. Hey Rico's not able to win that one. Fern plays it around him and just effortlessly guides it into the goal. Unfortunate juke out for the Broncos. Kentucky wins that going into match point. And if you have just heard that cheering, we've been talking about not only Durtho's in the audience, now Doc Haskell's in the audience,
Dad's
too.
here.
So you've got the head coach and the effective head coach, basically, and someone who will critique you like the head coach, I'll say, with Durtho. Oh, my goodness. Doc is laying it down.
I'm talking to you, casters.
Oh, my goodness. Oh. Wow. I guess we were kind of waiting for that one. We were throwing so much onto Doc and Durtho. They just had to throw a little bit back. Nerdy, you look speechless. Nerdy, thanks, Doc. Thanks a lot. I know you're great. Keeping your employees in high morale and everything. It's not like I've been casting Rocket League all game and could just walk off the stage right now. But anyway, we are going to go into game number 5. Broncos need to rally against the University of Kentucky. And they've been keeping them pretty close. It's gone into overtime, hasn't been decided by much more than 1 goal.
That last game, the Broncos, I don't know what the heck happened on stage. I don't know who said what, but a switch was flipped and they were going much faster than we saw. There was a lot more plays being made. They were not the ones responding. They're the ones making things happen. And I want to see more of that. I don't care if you're going Mach 10. Keep doing it.
Back into the field. Broncos on their last life to try to defend against the Wildcats. Kickoff in favor of Styles, but Fern is waiting to answer it back. Heads back to Bronco territory. Rico redirect back into midfield. Ashton with a touch, redirect off of Fern. Rico waits, tries to elevate up, plays with Hey Rico. The ball is just a bit slow for the Wildcats goal for it to be counted as a shot.
Ashton pops it up. It ends up with Styles. Fern Iwata comes in. Hey Rico elevates. Doesn't have enough of an angle to prevent it from rebounding straight to Wada. That one's just unfortunate. It happens. You can see here on the replay. Wada gets it, but Rico couldn't beat the ball there, so they have to play it off the backboard and relying on Styles to come in and chip the ball to the side. That's just a matter of speed, and sometimes it's not in your favor, especially when you're backtracking.
Wada beats the kickoff. Now Trigoats is following up, leaving it for Hey Rico. They can't get off each other. Backboard to go follow-up from Hey Rico. Finds the equalizer.
This was perfectly done. Shot from across the map. I don't think they were ready for it in all honesty. Hey Rico, and also there for the follow-up too. Defenders out of position. They weren't prepared. No one was even rotating back for Kentucky. They thought they had the clear. You showed them for sure. Now we're equalized, one aside, 4 minutes, 26 seconds on the clock.
Elevation up. Double tap by Hey Rico to waterfall it down. It almost pays off for him. Wada and Fern are both going to be credited with the save. Styles with the follow-up off of the backboard. Shot back across midfield. Now the Broncos have to play defense. Wada almost capitalizing, and Ashton with a follow-up does indeed capitalize.
4 minutes, 6 seconds on the clock. Broncos now trailing by 1. This is a lot of quick goals being scored by each team. Let's see if the Broncos can find their equalizer and bring us back to a 2-2 tie game. Let's see who goes in the favor of the kickoff here first.
Fern wins that kickoff. Hey Rico answers it back. Ashton trying to clear. Stopped by the Broncos. Hey Rico in mid-air, but Trigoats, their possible follow-up was Demo. That clears it open for the Wildcats. Unless Trigoats makes the play here. There's a lot of fighting in mid for who's going to get the side control. That was a crucial 50 in favor of Ashton. Back towards Broncos' old goal. Trigoats and Scouts unfortunately bump into each other, trying to defend. One of them's going to get demoed, and the goal's wide open in the wake of that for Wada.
See the demo there. So the keeper's gone. Rico's trying to come back. Ball ricochets. Fourth man almost perfected their job, but sometimes they give a little bit more love to the other team. It happens going to this next kickoff. It's going to go in favor slightly of Hey Rico. Ashton will beat Trigoats to that ball, though.
Styles grounding it. Hey Rico actually isn't going to ground it. Instead, Hey Rico's going to wait until it at least makes to mid, so they can push it up. Trigoats goes back to collect some boost. 50 against Fern. Fern wins that one. Back into Broncos territory, where the Broncos have been just a little bit too much. Trigoats with a pop off the roof is going to drive it back over to the orange side. Hey, Rico consistently has been the one to save it at mid.
Come on,
pushing
Rico.
towards the goal.
Oh.
Almost rallies them again.
That was beautiful. Almost a triple threat play there for Rico. Off the wall, Styles tries to send it to, I believe, that was meant for Trigo. Fern snagged it. Now we have kind of a three-man rollover on top of Fern to get that ball away. Hey, Rico in the mid, looking to drop it down to Styles. Styles with possession, tries to skirt it around Fern. Can't do it, unfortunately. Fern now cutting in to force Hey Rico to lose possession.
Attempted pinch off the wall, doesn't go in favor of the Broncos. Back to Hey Rico. Only able to barely redirect that. Styles elevates up, trying to keep it away from Ashton. Here comes Wada, and now Fern. Styles with the pass over to Hey Rico. Back into the corner to center it up.
There it is,
Rico
that's it,
sees
that's
and
it.
it's saved by Ashton.
Hey, Rico's not giving up just yet. They've dumped it down at the midfield. It's going to be pushed forward by Ashton to Wada. Fern is in the defensive position at the midfield, trying to make sure they have that presence. They prevented it from crossing midfield stride. Styles makes a save off Fern's shot. Ball is back at the mid.
Styles gets a tap on it. Now leaving it for Trigoats. Plays it around Fern. Fern takes it away from him and way back over to the Broncos territory. They only have Hey Rico on the front post. It's dangerous. They are just able to barely redirect it. Broncos again in defense, and the Wildcats are just letting that timer be their best friend right now as it's ticked down to 1.5 minutes.
Plenty of time for the Broncos to find 2 goals to equalize this one out if they're hoping to play for overtime. Styles with possession in the corner, leaves it for Trigo. Trigo plays it up the back wall. There's not a lot of speed on that ball, though, so Rico needs to cut in quickly. Instead, it's going to be Styles to reset the play. It's going to go into the corner. Play it off the ceiling. As it drops down, it's going to be popped back up. Hey, Rico at the mid has to challenge Wada. Barely manages to get a touch on it, but it is going to be Fern to rekindle that play for Kentucky.
Ashton in the goal is able to deflect it off to the side, and a nice redirect from Fern keeps the ball going into Bronco territory. It bounces back really quick off the wall toward mid. Styles rounds it, waiting for Trigoats. It goes rolling past Fern.
Come on, that's the goal.
Ashton being the crucial save.
And then Wada took out Trigoats. Trigoats is like, oh no, I have the shot. And then Trigoats is like, never mind.
Looking at the shots on goal, it's almost even for these two teams. But the Broncos overall have been playing defense. Styles passes it back over to Hey Rico. Trigo's moving up the left. Gets kind of stopped in midfield. I think he took a weird bounce. Goes back towards the Wildcats, but they have all 3 members in the goal ready to defend. That is going to do it for Kentucky. Great job by the Wildcats to get the overall victory. Broncos have had quite a run in the open season, but that is going to do it for them.
Yes, most definitely. But nonetheless, that was absolutely incredible. A great show coming out from our Bronco squad there on stage. This is my first time getting cast them. I'm looking forward to be able to cast them more going forward.
Yeah, they're really a great squad.
But Kentucky came to play, and they showed us that in that best-of-7 series. Honestly, though, every single game, we saw adjustments being made by the Broncos, and I think that speaks a lot to their ability to just grow and also adjust what they need to on the fly, and that's a huge skill when it comes to any esport.
Well, now we get the chance of nominating a player of the game. It could really be any of the 3 Broncos. I mean, normally we have a player trio, so it's just going to be, we're guaranteed to have 3 choices here. Although, if I was to nominate someone from the other side, University of Kentucky, I would do Ashton.
Same.
Because he was just, oh my goodness, he was such a goalie.
But I do have my nomination in mind for our ICCU player of the game. My nomination, wait, are we actually doing the player trio?
We will see. Yes, we are doing the player trio, so you can, in fact, bring your nomination out.
All right, well, my nomination just got mentioned. My nomination is Hey Rico. I'm only going to do one because I feel like even if we bring in one of the Kentucky players, I want to nominate my Broncos because I'm biased because I also am a Bronco.
Of course, it could also be Styles, the second look. For the Broncos.
Trigoats?
Yeah, Trigoats, or are we going to be thrown a curveball?
I wouldn't put it past production to throw us a curveball.
Yeah, I am not quite
or
sure.
Or Doc. It could be Doc yelling at us to not stop.
It could be Doc as the player of the game, although I will say, you know, it wasn't quite turned around after he threw such negativity out into the arena. I'm just saying, sometimes The aura of the arena, what you put out, can sometimes come back against you. That's all I'm saying.
Dang, there was a lot of shade. All right, my vote's still going to Hey Rico. What about you?
I also kind of got to give it. Man, do I have to pick someone? I guess.
No. If you want to side with me, that is perfectly acceptable.
Okay, I will side with you because Hey Rico was definitely the one who was trying to rally. And again, that's not to sell all the Broncos short. All of them were playing their hearts out. But if you looked at the activity feed, especially in games 4 and 5, Hey Rico was definitely trying to rally. He was just. All of the Broncos were just running into some very key defense from the Wildcats. And the overall player of the game is going to be Hey Rico.
Yes, we were right.
And he was definitely able to help the Broncos. He was the one who kind of got that little morale boost goal in the second game, showing that he really didn't give up until the very end. Until the clock hits 0 in every single game, he was still making plays.
Most definitely. It's never GG until the game is actually over.
Well, the player of the game is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Hey Rico is going to be your ICCU player of the game. And one final highlight here from Hey Rico. That was probably the best play of the night.
Most definitely.
Them playing it off each other. They were so close to each other, it almost looked like a pinch, but it was just a really good follow-up.
Perfectly calculated.
All righty. Well, do you have any final thoughts to close out this game, Nerdy?
Go fast.
Go fast.
That is
okay.
my response. Yes, thank you. Okay, because game 1 was slow. The second game, Kentucky picked up their tempo and they dominated that game. Game 3, when the Broncos stepped up to that amount of speed and were actually playing to match that, as opposed to trying to keep it in their own comfort zone as far as the speed of the game went, was not. It was hard. It is very hard to pull things back in when you're trying to play this calm, cool, and calculated style in Rocket League, and it not working in your favor. And so to hit the gas and actually go toe-to-toe with them after that, it seemed to work much better.
Well, the Wildcats win that one in Game 5. That's going to do it for our NACE Open League match, and we'll leave you with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. We'll send it to the top 5 plays of the game and be back with more esports action after this.
Dead like a summer sunset, doing things that I shouldn't, but it helps me reset. I'm fucked up, but it's fine, yeah. Anything to forget that it's all in my head. In my head, my head, my head. In my head, my head, my head. Get out of my head. Get out of my. Get out of my head. Get out of my. Get out of my head. Get out of my. Get out of my head. In my head, my head, my head. My head don't feel like it used to. I miss my homies, yeah. The thing we had discontinued.